Hi, everyone. This is Alexis Boss, and welcome back to your favorite Black Lobbyist podcast. There's a piece that I wanted to get into a little bit is that security, right? You are showing up confident and secure in who you are and how you come off and how you show up. And a lot of times that can be perceived a certain way.
Yeah.
And I know that we've talked about the are you a threat, and we've talked about the hypervisibility that is masked, surveillance that is masked as hypervisibility and really is synonymous in the two. But and even we kind of touched on even tone policing, right? And how it just shows up in the workplace and how it may mask itself in little things, little comments and certain gestures. But a lot of it is just you're, aside from the fact that you're professional, you're capable, competent, all the things, you're just secure in who you are. You're confident. And that also can still be a problem. And again, there's no way around that. And I think it's that for me, as I went through those personal experiences, and I think also a lot of people have to have that when they get to that point of realization of, well, dang, here we are. What's next? I can't do anything else. There's no more dancing left in me. You know, there's like how, and then that's the sad reality where it's like, I have to leave or I stay and be okay with the terms and agreement.
Or you learn the system and teach the system how it works.
Okay, well, how? Yeah, okay.
So everyone tells you that HR is not your friend, right?
Oh, yeah.
HR is there for the company.
Yeah.
Okay, that is absolutely true. But there are rules, laws that protect all of us in the workplace, right? So if you are being as disciplined about tracking the disproportionate treatment to you by comparison to others, right? And I mean, give it a little time. You know, what time do you feel like you have or whatever? I usually try to tell people to like recognize this at the onset, right? Like, instead of you going in and doing that internal tap dance and trying to figure out, oh my God, and you spend the next 2-3 months trying to figure out what the hell, which way is up and which way is out and which way is down, recognize that what's happening is what's happening.
Right.
So that you can then focus on what you need to focus on, which is how do you respond to me versus how do you respond to everyone else? And when you are the only you, like you, in an environment, that naturally sets up the difference.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it's race, gender, or whatever. Okay, I'm a black woman on a team of 10 people, 8 people, whatever. I'm the only me like me, you know? Not the only diversity on the team because white women are counted as diversity. You know, queer community is counted as diversity. Brown people are counted as diversity. So, you know, there could be, but sometimes that doesn't even exist, right? And so you start to track that. And once you feel like you've got a good amount of tangible examples of, I did this, I was told to do this, I did this, there was still a problem. By comparison, my peer was told to do this.
Yeah.
They did such and such, no problem.
Yeah.
I'm hypervisibility. You know, I said in my video series that for 2 months, you arrive early before your manager and your peers. You leave after them and would leave after your manager and your peers. You make sure that you are extremely visible, because the one thing you do when you increase your arrivals, and people think that you'll disappear into the world. Nope. Become extremely visible. You start tracking and looking at, who do I need to talk to today? You know, drive-by conversations, but they're always meaningful and funny and like whatever. I was very present.
Yeah.
Right? Deadlines, you exceed deadlines. If it is something that is due within the same work week, you try to beat the deadline by 1 business day. If you have a 2 to 4 week runway on your deadline, you beat it by 3 to 5 business days for 2 months. You also don't take any planned or unplanned PTO during that 60 days. Okay?
Yeah.
In doing so, if you are tracking your arrivals and your departures, if you are beating every deadline, if you are making sure that you are hyper present, cordial, what could possibly be wrong with you as a performer? Even doing that should give you a meet expectations.
Yeah.
Even though you are exceeding by coming early and leave, right? But it should at least give you a meet. You are not an underperformer.
Yeah.
Right? So if you are constantly being reprimanded or constantly given this subjective feedback of it's not enough or there's something wrong, then start to watch how everyone else is being received.
Yeah.
What is everybody else's assignment?
Yeah.
Was that turned in on time? How was that applauded or recognized?
Yeah.
Track the comparison. You just need enough intel to be able to take that to HR.
Yeah.
You're not taking that to HR because you want HR to do anything. You're taking to HR because it documents a complaint. And anything punitive that comes after the documentation of a complaint is retaliation under Title VII of the Labor and Employment Workplace Law. Okay? That is how the system works.
Yeah.
We didn't design the system. You decided to treat me differently. You then gave me, by comparison, evidence of the difference in your... So, okay, I will use your person, your HR person, and I will file a complaint. I will file it with you. I will file it with... And I was, I am really disheartened and disappointed and also confused
Yeah.
by the disproportionate response to me as a person, as an employee, by comparison to my peers. I would like to document that with you. Now, they have a responsibility actually to do an investigation. They won't. They will coach you and tell you to go back and talk to your manager or go back and talk to the peer and whatever. Doesn't matter. You need the documentation that I filed a complaint. So now when your manager takes something away from you or fires you, especially if it's within 6 months of that complaint, and if it's within 6 weeks of that complaint, especially in the state of Georgia, they have set you up to be able to negotiate what you need in severance. Because lawfully, they have broken the law. The one thing that I have learned about labor and employment law, or just about the law in general, you as a lobbyist probably understand this, is that the law don't give a damn about your feelings. It don't give a damn about what's right and wrong. It don't give a damn about what's moral or immoral. The law cares about what can be proven and what cannot be proven under the law. What is permissible and not permissible per the law. The law is very black and white.
Yeah.
Employment law, even more so. But 9 times out of 10, because most of these systems work in terms of bias, by majority, conditioned to believe that privilege saves and solves everything, saves them from everything, solves everything. Because yes, they may continue to be employed while you lose your job.
Yeah.
But if we are as disciplined in protecting ourselves as we are in doing our job, a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, you are sitting on exactly what you need to negotiate the severance that you need to provide the gap, to provide income within the gap from one role to the next.
You are speaking so much to me because that exactly is what happened, in the sense of, for me personally, I documented because I was at the point where I'm like, this is intentional. They are trying to get me out of here because nothing I'm doing is right. To the point, like, even my job is wrong. Like, and I'm like, well, this is what I do. Documenting. And even HR reached out to me and said, you need to file a complaint because we are noticing, if this is what you've been going through, we see it. And this is bad. Because I wasn't going to file a complaint because, and I was going to ask you this, there are a lot of women who are in these similar situations, if not, God forbid, worse. And the fear of, if I say something, if I file that complaint, I no longer have a job. And I know for me, the moment I filed that complaint with HR, right? They're supposed to do an investigation. The investigation was, well, just talk to your people manager and just work it out. I'm complaining to you because there is no working it out. It's black and white. This is what this is. I'm coming to you because that's our last resort. Mm-hmm. So you giving me the advice to work it out isn't helping me, right? And of course, probably a couple weeks after complaining, or the complaint was filed, that's when I got pulled in. Oh,
that's all you need.
That's all I need.
That's all you need.
And
that's retaliation.
And literally people out there, I was like, you can file suit, right? You can.
But you don't need to.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like lawsuits, employment lawsuits take years.
Yeah.
And they cost a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
You don't need to sue. You need evidence of wrongdoing.
Yeah.
You need evidence of being unlawful, biased, discriminatory.
Yeah.
That's all you need is the evidence of. And yes, you need to get an attorney that knows how to write that up in terms of when you're let go, you're typically given some rudimentary severance. Sometimes some companies will say, we're not giving you anything. Mm-hmm. Okay, well then the first shot will be from my attorney then. Yeah. Right. Others will be like, okay, we give you 2 weeks, or we give you 4 weeks, or whatever. And so, and in your severance agreement, or your separation agreement, it usually gives you a time to review, 21 days, 45 days, somewhere in there. Mm-hmm. In that time, you consult with an attorney, and when your attorney writes up your response, the response should be written the way it should look should you decide to file. Yeah. This is exactly how we are going to shape this case. Yeah. This is exactly what we're going to make this look like. Mm-hmm. And based on previous case law and this, and this is exactly how we know we can prove it. Yeah. And that's it. That's enough to get you from 4 weeks to 8 to 12. You're not necessarily going to be able to fund the rest of your life, but you, just like when you are hired, it is a negotiation in terms of your compensation. So is your separation. Yeah. It is, just because they've decided you no longer work there doesn't mean that they get to decide the value of that decision. Yeah. This is mutually, we gonna go into, it is what I can prove and what you can prove, mm-hmm. right? Now, if I was underperforming or doing something unethical or like whatever, but if I have not been terminated for cause. Yes. Because cause is clear. Yes. If I've not been terminated for cause. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I wish I don't regret decisions because that's just what it is. You learn from either mistakes or you learn from your decisions in mm-hmm. life. And I look back and I always question, not necessarily my decision, but I just ask the question, what if I just fought? In a sense of, or just sought, an employment lawyer. Mm-hmm. Because I had the documentation, mm-hmm. I had everything, mm-hmm. right? And I think for me at that point, and also other people getting them, it's that intergenerational or that generational, just let it go. Mm-hmm. It's okay. Yeah. don't anger them. Don't, you don't want this to follow you. And it's also, I think I was tired.
Yeah.
I was tired.
You're beaten down by that point.
I was tired.
Yeah.
I said, no, not again.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't the first rodeo, right?
Right.
So it was a lot of emotions because, again, remember I mentioned I wanted to stay long. You want job security, and so I'm just like, dang, and it's an array, and also probably just some justifiable anger and sadness and all the things, right? Reflection, right? And I think at that point I was like, I'm tired.
Yeah.
And
fair.
And also I know the work I'm in, right? I'm a lobbyist, I'm in government. Relational capital is very, very important. So my reputation, who I am is, and how I show up and what that means and perspective to other people is also important, sadly.
Yeah.
Right? So I couldn't have that, oh, she's difficult to work with attached to me. I couldn't have that, oh, well, if I can't trust her because, if her emotions are too, I couldn't have those stereotypes or those tropes attached to me.
You didn't mitigate anything.
Yeah.
You're not powerful enough to change that.
Yeah.
They're saying that shit about you regardless of whether or not you tap or not. Regardless of whether or not you're too tired to fight or not.
You're not going to make me cry up in here.
You are. It is happening.
Yeah.
What I want us to do is fight differently. Don't fight at the end. Fight in the beginning. Like when you noticed shit started going left.
Right.
The very first thing we typically do is we call a girlfriend, our parents, or our work bestie, and we complaining and we jaw-jacking and we talking about all the things and like, oh my God, and they got me messed up and I can't believe I ain't did nothing and blah, 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 blah. Why wouldn't you call an attorney then? Why wouldn't you spend the $500 for an hour of a partner at a reputable labor and employment firm and say, I'd like to buy an hour of your time. I just want to tell you what's going on. I want to spend the first 30 minutes of our conversation telling you what's going on, and then I have a couple of questions for you. I want you to spend the last 30 minutes of our conversation telling me what to look out for, how to position myself, what my responses should be.
Yeah.
So I set myself up for the best legal outcome. Right? Because you don't know the law.
Right.
You don't know what is illegal versus just wrong and unethical. Like they're just doing foul shit to you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of wrongful termination out there that is completely lawful. What you're looking for is what you can prove under the law. And you are thinking, oh, okay, well, let me just endure this and try to track and try to pull, and why not spend $500?
Yeah.
That could net you versus 2 weeks severance, 12 weeks severance.
Yeah.
That $500 that's good ROI on $500 if I went from 2 weeks severance to 12 weeks severance. Yeah. Even better if I went from 2 weeks to 6 months.
That's the part I wish I would have did, because my severance wasn't nothing. So I wish it would have, because that could have extended me out into either finding, that didn't even give me 30 days.
I have learned that, yes, I'm going to call my girlfriends and my mama and my husband, and I'm going to talk and talk and talk. But I'm also going to call an attorney. Yeah. And I am also going to say, here is the genesis of how this is showing up. Mm-hmm. How should I be showing up? Yeah. What should I be saying? What should I be looking for? What should I be tracking? Yeah. What will you need to prove and make this actionable? And I don't mean in terms of I want to file a lawsuit. The lawsuit is the last thing that I want. Yeah. I want the threat. I want to become the threat that you think that I am in that moment. Because that is what protecting yourself may require. Yeah. I want the threat of litigation. I want enough meat on the bones that they understand if they were to throw me in a pot of stew, I'm gonna flavor something. Okay?
Yeah.
I want you to know that either reputationally or some, there is some punitive outcome, mutual. I'm not gonna be standing alone in the punitive outcome of this.
Yeah.
I lose my job, you walk away, you never think about me again.
Yeah.
No, I lose my job, okay, fine, but you gonna give me something to walk away. And so now I have learned that instead of waiting until I am tired, exhausted, defeated, crazed, confused.
Yeah.
Is it not?
Yeah.
No, I'm just gonna go to somebody that can tell me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to somebody that can tell me. I'm gonna spend $500, and then I'm gonna ask him before we finish that call. Tell me when I should come back.
They want
when will you need? When I see X, is that for me to spend another $500 with you so that we can take this to the next step?
Yeah.
So that we tracking and monitoring or whatever. You also will begin to get very good relationships with these folks, and they become invested in, like not all lawyers are ambulance chasers. No. Like they become invested in the outcome of you, right? And understanding that, once you've been through it again and again and again, then you stop even needing to call in the beginning because now you know that, hell, even the Bible says ain't nothing new under the sun. It's happening every workplace you go to. Yeah. It's the same shit. Yeah. Over and over again. Yeah. And you doing a different dance and looking for different signals. No. Understand that shit is that shit. There it is.
There it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's play.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Let's Serena this. Yeah.
I'm ready.
Right.
And I will smile and sit in meetings with ease because I am waiting for you to do what privilege always does. Such that when you decide to be punitive with me, I was ready for you to do that.
Yeah.
I was ready for you to do that. I hoped, despite and against all odds, that you would not. That you would actually allow me to have this seat at this table. That you would respect, not allow, because it's not yours to give. Yeah. I'm sitting in the seat. Yeah. I would hope that you would respect me being here. Yeah. And understanding I'm contributing for the greater good. Right. But if you decide to play the game that way,
we could play.
I'm not going to be someone that's going to sit there and be your crash test dummy, having the fits and starts to my career, having the reputation impact to me. Yeah. It happens. It has happened to me more than once. And eventually you start to feel like, well, shit, I'm the common denominator.
I'm the problem.
I must be no, that's what the system, it's systemic.
Yeah.
I'm one person. I'm a speck in
the problem.
In a grand, right. And because I am minority, it is easy for the focus to be me. Yeah. But it's not me. It's not us. Because please believe, where there is opportunity to learn and grow, I'm willing to learn and grow. Yeah. If I don't do something, but so what? Okay, let me improve upon that. But I'm not going to need, 3-4 times to get this right. I make the mistake once, and the next time you are going to see excellence. Yeah. Right? So, I'm hoping that any employer gives me the room to just be excellent. Yeah. Without having to do this dance. I would much rather not do this dance. I would much rather just show up and be excellent, enjoy everybody that I work with, even the people that I don't really like that much. It's cool. Yeah. You cool. You ain't my flavor. We ain't gonna be hanging out on the weekend. But I can work with anybody.
It's a job.
But if you decide to use my difference against me, you decide to start playing in the arena of bias. You decide to marginalize and discriminate. Well, there are laws for that. Yeah. And the system is the system. Yeah. And we didn't design the system, but I'll be damned if I don't learn it and figure out how to spin that shit right on back around because you decided that this was going to be the game. We could have played another. We could have just all been up in here happy and excellence and fat cats and enjoying our lives. But you decided to make me black and woman and inferior in that moment. You decided that. So I'll be damned if I don't make the system work for me.
I want a moment of silence because you just set up the stage for how to protect yourself, right? Women, but specifically black women, do not know that. First off, I mentioned earlier that we didn't even know the language, right, to call it the thing, right? So that's why I'm thankful again for your series, because you're providing language, right, to the context and what we're feeling, what we're in our experiences. But also, it is now, okay, I got the language and you know what's happening. You can call it the thing and you experience it and da 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 da. But how do you protect yourself? How do you know how to not necessarily, like, it shouldn't get to the point of, dang, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, or I gotta, no, you should know how to, why didn't you invest in yourself and call that lawyer when you knew the moment something was off? Mm-hmm. And a lot of times we see it very early on. Mm-hmm. We either are in denial, we don't want to shake the table, we don't want to, go, I always, my family, again, it's that Southern black household and lingo, don't go in that white man job shaking tables. Mm-hmm. Don't go in there, rustling feathers, because you need the job. You got to be grateful for what you got here for. And sadly, a lot of older black people, and again, it's a generational thing too. It's that also, that's another trope and condition, right? Mm-hmm. Where that's why I think a lot of black women go into the space operating as, well, self-audit. Well, what is it about? The tap dancing and all the different things. But in reality, it's like, because you're confident, you're secure, how to show up and show up professionally. How do we use a system, not necessarily, how to use it in favor? Right? Mm-hmm. How do you use what's already set in place mm-hmm. in your favor? Mm-hmm. I want to press more of the button, because that is me. I want to press the button because there's going to be people, which I'm pretty sure you're aware of, that's going to sit there and say, well, how dare she come in here with all of this? She's just complaining.
Or that I'm targeting, or that I'm setting people up, or trying to be opportunistic. Or how am I being opportunistic when I wasn't the one that played bias? Mm. I didn't decide to say I was underperforming. I didn't decide to question everything about my existence, not just my performance, but my existence. Mm-hmm. That would have never been a decision of mine. I don't want that to be a part of my reputation or my experience. You know how tiring that is, how exhausting that is, how frustrating that is, how debilitating that is? Yeah. I don't want that. But I didn't make the system. Yeah. And I'll be damned if the system keeps stealing, and destroying me. Yeah. Without me learning how the system works. Mm-hmm. That's it. Like, it's just as simple as that. We can both put our money in the stock market and buy the same stocks, mm-hmm. and our money is going to have the same level of performance because we've bought into the same things. That's exactly what I'm saying about the workplace. Yeah. It's a system. Yeah. It works the same way every time because there's nothing new under the sun. Yeah. And bias is sophisticated. Mm-hmm. And racism and discrimination is an extremely effective tool. Yeah. If it wasn't, they wouldn't use it. Yeah. If it didn't work, you wouldn't use it. Right. So I'm either going to just continue to say, okay, I guess I'll go find another job. Mm-hmm. And allow myself to be destroyed mm-hmm. behind all of this. Or I can say, damn, that sucks. I really did not want to lose my job. Yeah. All right. Let me go find another one. And oh, by the way, you all are going to fund me until I do.
Yeah.
You know, or at least fund a good part of this gap.
Yeah.
Because you've decided to place me here. And I got smarter over time and started tracking that in the beginning instead of going through all of the me, it's me, oh my God, it's me, it's me, it's me, oh Lord. No, it's not me. It's this.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We gonna do this. Okay. I don't want to.
Yeah.
But I'm tracking.
Yeah.
And I'm ready.
Yeah.
And when you make the move, because undoubtedly they always do.
Yeah.
I didn't make that move. I didn't set this up. I just tracked it. It's so funny for people to believe us to be clearly exceptional and extraordinary.
Black girl magic.
And it makes it, and I think it adds it's even more angering when we not just outperform, but we outsmart.
Yeah.
You know? Because the system shows you every day where it thinks you belong.
Yeah.
So to outsmart is like, okay, you know, I didn't even think of it over time as outsmarting. I thought of it as, okay, if this is cyclical and it keeps happening, I got to learn something from this. Yeah. I've got to be able to protect myself better. I've got to be able to roll out of these positions a bit stronger.
Yeah.
How do I do that? You know?
You learn, you adapt.
You learn and you adapt.
You evolve.
And you know, like the one thing I recognize about success, I've been around many successful, wealthy people.
Yeah.
And I actually I was planning on writing a Substack about this, but I will talk about this here. The one thing that I realize about success is that they use two resources proactively that the black community typically doesn't.
Okay.
Legal, law enforcement. Mm-hmm. Every successful person that I know uses law enforcement and legal as a proactive part of their strategy. Mm-hmm. As a young black woman growing up, you called the law reactively.
Yeah.
You were in trouble. You were being arrested.
Right.
You are witnessing a crime or experiencing a crime. Mm-hmm. That's when you call law enforcement.
Right.
Okay? Legal only comes into play when you are fighting for your rights.
Yes.
Fighting to stay out of jail, fighting for freedom, or fighting for damages mm-hmm. that you are owed.
Yeah.
It is always reactive. Mm-hmm. But if you even think about even how in work, there's always a legal department.
Yep.
There's always security on site. It is a constant, proactive
measure.
Always there.
Yeah.
Why? Because if I am going to mitigate any type of financial fallout, reputational fallout, or what, I have to have these things in place at all times to ensure my best outcome on any given day. That is how I now pursue my career.
Wow.
I engage law enforcement and legal proactively. My board of directors, my personal board of directors for my career
yes.
has somebody legal, it has HR, it has law enforcement, it has a C-suiter. Mm-hmm. It has a junior person because the babies will teach you.
Okay.
It has a money guy. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at my 6 and my 12 at all times. Mm-hmm. At all times. Anything goes left, mm-hmm. I have got someone that is protecting the major pillars of my life, my financials, my freedoms.
Yeah.
My ability to negotiate and land at best outcomes. Yeah. My reputation and the system. That's where HR comes in. Mm-hmm. I'm pulling that in as a constant for my life. People go out and look for mentors. Oh, I want you to mentor you because you see somebody ahead of you in your career. Oh, I want to be able to reach up.
I want that. I want to touch it. It looks good. It looks colorful.
No, I want expertise that I don't have.
Yeah.
And I want to use it the way successful people do, which is proactively. I need for you, a good CEO, their cabinet, their executive team is one that should be adept and smart in every area that they are not. Okay. And I mean laser smart. I mean the type of smarts that just blow your mind. Because you can't lead if you can't see around corners, and you can't lead if you are unfamiliar with areas and parts of your business. You can't do it. So fundamentally, like I can do the business of business, I can do finance, but I am not a finance person. Right? So if ever to be a CEO, I would have a very strong CFO. Yeah. I would have a very strong COO, because I need those two people to always be in a great, strong relationship with each other. Yeah. Right? That is a critical part of the business. I run my career like the CEO of my career. My board of directors exists to help me see around corners, to proactively protect, and to also be prepared to negotiate for the damages when bias works the way it undoubtedly always will.
That is so good in the sense of advice, and also how to maneuver and how you should start operating in life and in your career. Right? We've all been told, have a board of directors, right? And you're like, oh, okay, get some mentors, get some people. But no, this is a strategic. And I think people don't understand strategy, right? I'm a lobbyist, so strategy is my bread and butter. I get off on strategy. If you give me like a day or two to figure out a plan, I got you, because I naturally will want to solve things. So to have not only your board of directors be someone that does not look like you in many a different ways, is people that are inept and have expertise in things that you don't even know functionally how it operates or works. Because when you come across those security challenges, those bias challenges, those legal challenges, those challenges where you're just like, I don't even know what this is, you want to be able to quickly access information that is also free, because I always call it your knowledge is liquid gold. People can easily and happily charge for that. And so I always tell people I'm thankful, and not like I'm thoroughly thankful that I get to peek inside of this. If you even give me, again, 30 minutes of your time. So that was always.
Oh, no, I've got it down to 15.
Oh, okay.
I've got it down to 15.
I don't even need 30.
You can call me on your walk from your office to your car, and by the time you turn it on, I will have extracted what I need. Yeah. I have become a ninja. Yeah. In terms of time. Yeah. But part of that is, somebody being groomed and raised in an agency environment, and your time is billable. So everything for us comes down to a 15-minute, billability, utilization. But yeah, I mean, I think we want to succeed and we want to rise, but we don't think about resources in terms of how to get there. We think that rising is hitching our star to somebody else's wagon, or hitching our wagon to somebody's star and being pulled up by them. But there are resources I got girlfriends who, hell, my brothers, one of my brothers, fraternity brothers, wives is a longtime HR person. Now, I don't talk to her about a lot of that, but I know, because she's in my community. Yeah. If I really needed to, I could call her. I can call her, and I know she would tell me, okay, this is how HR gonna start playing it. Like, this is what they gonna start doing, right? Because she's been trained. She knows the playbook.
She knows the playbook.
Exactly. So you don't even have to have formal relationships with people, but you do need to do some relationship mapping. Yeah. And understand who is in your community, within your ecosystem. Yeah. That you can reach out to and be like, hey, I could use a bit of guidance here. Yeah. or, I would appreciate you helping me kick the tires around on what's in my head.
Yeah.
That is mentorship. Mm-hmm. That is building, because the more knowledge you have, you're able to walk into the workplace a lot differently when you are equipped with the information of what's actually happening and how you can protect yourself with it. Right. And some of that is behavioral. Right. Yes. You gotta, we can't be knucking if we bucking. Right. We can't. Right. And there were some times throughout my career that I rightfully was called to task over that. Right. Even though what provoked it, you righteously got what you got because you provoked it with your foolishness and with your ugliness. Yeah. But I am responsible for emotion regulation. I say it all the time. We are all responsible for that basic professional maturity in the workplace. Yes. You saying something that I don't like doesn't mean or that I get a chance to attack. Right. Right. So now I've gone petulant. I've gone below. Right. And I'm not going to do that. Right. If anything, now I get super quiet and I get completely unresponsive. I let them shoot off or say whatever or ask the question. And if the question is utterly ridiculous, like, do you understand? Yeah. Then it's yes.
Yeah. It's short, simple. There's no...
We give way too much context. We do way too much explaining. We do way too much talking. We do way too much talking.
You know what? So I tried that tactic. And do you know the first response was, and literally it was a physical, right? I'm going to show you I'm here with it. Quiet. I'm listening. I didn't say a thing. My body language hasn't changed. My tone has not changed. I'm here. And the first thing was, I just don't like your, how you're, I'm not like, I haven't changed. I haven't moved. Like, my tone has not shifted. I don't know what the issue is. And then the first thing was, Alexis, I don't have a gun. Hands went up and was just like, I immediately said, I'm going to take a pause right here. I'm going to get up. I got louder. So I'm going to get up. I'm going to open this door for my safety and for yours, because you physically have your hands up as if I have something that can physically threaten or hurt you. And now I feel unsafe as a Black woman in the space, in the confined only space with you and I in it, with the white woman, just because of the historical context. You have your hands up as if I have a knife or gun pointed towards you. And I have done nothing nor said anything to you. Oh, wait, that's just being ridiculous. No. I'm moving in accordance to how you're acting, so you clearly don't feel comfortable.
Yeah, see, no, that's too much. Yeah. It's too much. Because now, parts of it I agree with. Yeah. When you're like, let me open the door because I'm not exactly sure what's happening. Yeah. But I think how I would have played that a little differently is when the hands came up, it would have been, are you okay? Yeah. You know what? Let's take a 60-second pause. I'm going to meander down to so-and-so and see if I can invite them to come in with us. I feel like we may need a third party to really help us facilitate this conversation, But before I step out, are you okay? Do you need more than a 60-second pause? Projection works both ways, bitch. Yeah. You throwing that to me? Yeah. How about I bring focus to your emotion regulation in this situation? Because now you under arrest. The fuck is happening to you? Right. What happened to you? Right. Nothing. Yeah. We're in a corporate workspace. We both make over 6 figures. Ain't nothing happening to you. Ain't nothing happening to you. What's going on? At all. It was here. I'd like to take 60 seconds to invite. Maybe it's if you have HR on site, or I'm gonna Slack chat them right quick, ask them to step in with us. But do you need more than 60 seconds, to feel comfortable? Yeah. Still be, that's, no, don't invite. I was like, oh, well, you know, I understand that you don't need it, but what I'm sensing is that you do.
Yeah.
And more importantly, we do.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that we can move forward. So I'm gonna step outside
Yeah.
for just a second and give this person time to come in. That gives you chance to, you know,
Yeah.
just kind of, I use that a lot in the workplace. I'm gonna give you a chance to, you know,
Yeah.
while I wait for them to come in. And then that way maybe we can finish here. You know, the tone naturally gets a lot softer. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Do you need more than a minute? Let's You know, remember what Sinclair used to do on Living Single?
Mm-hmm.
Woo, woo, woo.
Woo, woo, woo. Woo, woo, woo.
That's where my woo, 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 woo comes from. It's a passive aggressive. Mm-hmm. It's a
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to make you the case that you're showing yourself to be.
Yeah.
Because I'm not the threat. I'm not having an issue here, but I do recognize that I'm no longer safe in this conversation.
Yeah.
And anything that happens next is going to be a me against you. And with you being default authority, that is going to impact me. So now we need a third party. We need somebody else to be privy to what's happening. We need a witness.
Yeah.
We need a witness. That way it's not my word against yours.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, Georgia is a one-party consent state. That means any conversation that you are a part of, you can record.
Oh, good, because I did. But I didn't know that, because I know there's some laws in regards to, like, you can't record people without their consent.
Not in Georgia.
Oh.
The only place where that changes is in terms of healthcare.
Oh.
Okay, so there are, you know, with HIPAA and casework and social work and healthcare, you have to be careful.
Yeah.
In a conversation, though, of performance, in which you were clearly having.
Yeah.
And even in situations where, you know, I work in agency, confidential clients or whatever.
Yeah.
We talk about those things, but we talk about those things in terms of my performance. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, in Georgia, don't matter if you are talking to somebody in another state. Our state says any conversation that you are a part of, you can record. So I highly recommend that Black women get very, very comfortable and friendly with your voice memo app. And every conversation, don't matter what you're talking about, turn it on.
Yeah.
Turn it on. And when you get home at night, that conversation that was playing a loop in your head, listen back to it and write your notes. Mm-hmm. Document. In real time.
Yes.
Right? And then save the recording. Not only save the recording to your phone, but move it to some FTP, like a Dropbox or something. Offload it and get off your phone. Save it somewhere.
Yeah.
And save it under a file name of which you can remember. I've saved file names like, this is the day she threw her hands up, acting like she was under arrest. I've got file names that long. The day she threw her hand, because then that's going to immediately bring me back to the conversation.
Right.
Especially if you got files and files and files and files of recordings, right? Because right? So again, that's the system. That's the state I lived in. That's the state that I lived. That's the law. That's what allows for me to protect myself.
Wow.
Why should I feel bad about having to protect myself? Because I didn't evoke bias in this situation. I didn't decide to discriminate and marginalize against myself. I didn't decide to put you under arrest.
Right.
I didn't decide to undermine my intelligence and determine, do you understand? I didn't do that.
Yeah.
You did. And you did it habitually. You did it consistently.
Yeah.
You did it over and over again.
Right.
You gave repetition. That's the word I'm looking for. You did it with repetition. Mm-hmm. Anything done in repetition is a pattern.
Yeah.
The law proves patterns.
Yeah.
Learn the system.
Yeah.
Learn the system.
Learn the system.
Stop figuring out that it's you and trying to shapeshift. You are not going to be able to shapeshift or mind meld or change your identity to safety. You're not going to be able
to do that.
change your identity. Nothing of that you're going to be able to do is going to create safety for you.
Yeah.
That's it. Just if it could be done, I would have done it already.
Yeah.
In 20 plus years, I would have done it, and I haven't. So instead, I got smarter and said, learn the system instead. Learn the system. And ideally, I land in a workplace with a safe culture, with a good culture in which I don't have to worry about none of this.
Yeah.
I just worry about my job
Yeah.
and building my people. Because you know me, you've seen me
I've seen
operate
you
as a
operate.
people leader.
Yo.
And you know how I feel about
Yeah.
my teams.
Yes.
You know how I feel about my people
Yes.
and the people that we work with and that respect that we give. I love the challenge of building a high performing team.
Yeah.
And
you built it.
I love that because
Yeah.
I love people.
Yeah.
I am a people before profit type leader. And I would much rather that be my focus. But if you determine that you're going to integrate a threat into my existence, into my livelihood and my ability to take care of myself and my children,
Yeah.
then I will show that I have become smart about
Yeah.
the system that I work in.
There's so much, oh God, I want to do another part 3. There's so much that you have unpacked, because I think as Black people, I don't want to say get afraid, but we don't know how to properly use the system, right? In a myriad of ways, right? The system in the professional workplace, the system, the legal system, the system that is in regards to our civil freedoms, right, and liberties. I think we are now starting to understand and learn, right? And there's people like you and I that are giving way on the social media space or in the digital space to educate and show people what those systems mean and how to be aware and how to utilize it, because it's already there in place. We as people, right, again, specifically Black people, we sometimes don't know or understand how to use the system. And I think we get bogged down and think that the system can't be used in our favor.
Of course.
And I think it takes people like you, like me, and like others that are there to educate and bring awareness that no, the system can be used. You just have to know how to use it the same way people are starting to understand and know how to use the financial system.
Exactly.
Right? We are just now understanding and breaking ground of some of these stock markets, exchange, trust, how, when people die, like all of it, right? And so and granted, we understand, right? We don't have to get into the generational historical context as to why we're learning these systems and how to utilize it for our benefit. But I'm so thankful that you broke all of that down, because as Black women in this space, and as we're seeing Black women lose their jobs at a higher rate, as we're seeing Black women and women of color specifically go through this very cyclical thing that is used to kill, steal, and destroy, right? To the point where you're like, oh, I don't even want to get an attorney, because by that time you already almost out the door. That's why you use it proactively and look at it as your benefit and not as your last resort.
It's like any other thing that you are invested in. When you get your salary at work, you sign up for your benefits, right? One of the things that I have always, I did early on, now I have a family member that is an attorney, but early on when that wasn't the case, I would always pull aside, like around $1,000, out of my first couple paychecks. I would just, pull 200 here, 200, pull together $1,000. I started to establish emergency fund to be able to protect myself, right? If I needed to reach out and somebody and get expertise that I needed to pay for. Then I, of course, got smarter and was like, let me just build my professional board of directors with this expertise, right? And even then, it still takes investment. Like, my board gets great gifts from me, very, very great gifts for me. But yeah, I think when the system has been used against you generationally, you are conditioned to believe it is impossible for it to operate in your favor. Yeah. And let me be clear, like nothing that I'm saying is a fail safe. It's not a guarantee, right? But I have been successful operating this way in terms of protecting myself. It's a strategy on the back end. It's a strategy like any other.
The same
right?
way you would need it for if you need a fire escape plan, right?
Absolutely.
It's not.
You hope it's break in case of emergency,
right?
That is that is how I would expect for people to look at this. Like, don't go in trying to set people up for fall or set people. Like, no, we are still ethical, moral. You know what I mean?
Right.
But when we see that it's that we are being discriminated against, when we see that we are being marginalized, when we see that we are being disproportionately treated, it's like, okay,
well, now
then let me run the playbook is running, so let me run the play, you know, and we got to start collecting the data, and we got to start bringing in our expertise and setting ourselves up such that hopefully, you know, maybe that manager leaves and you keep your job, or maybe, you know, you find another job. Maybe you start looking for another job and you find another job and like, okay, I can leave that behind. But if nothing else is out there and you're kind of stuck for the time being or whatnot, then you got to make sure that you're as disciplined about your protection as you are in your performance excellence. Yeah. It all has to be a part of your performance excellence. Unfortunately, you know, and I hope you never have to you never need it. Break in case of emergency, like you walk past that, you know, fire extinguisher every day in the job. One little red thing, you walk past it every day for days on end. Yeah. But, you know, should it get smoky or foggy up in that bitch, you gonna be glad that the grass is there to break, right? So that's how we have to look at our career.
I think that's really good because it shows how to utilize strategy for your benefit, but also to invest in yourself. And I think people look at investment as if you are starting your own business, entrepreneur factor, but no, invest in yourself in the corporate space as well, right? And what that investment looks like in the event that the playbook is starting to shift, and in the event that we're playing this game now, we're no longer just showing up and operating and doing our job as a professional. We are now having to start to navigate these stones that is unfamiliar. Now it's okay, well, let's play. Right. I want to, as we are getting ready to close out, because this conversation, I'm telling you, we can go on and on and on and on, and I'm pretty sure those that are listening are just feeling seen, feeling heard.
I hope so.
I know so, because every time I talk to you, I feel seen and heard, which I love, right? But a lot of people don't get to know you like I've gotten to know you, which I'm thankful for. And I'm also thankful for how accessible you are. For the free feed, I was playing. But I'm thankful for that, because not everybody gets to have this. And that you are the reason why, or one of the reasons, right, in the grand scheme of things, why I wanted to start this platform. Is because I get these amazing, by the grace of God, opportunities, right? Very similar like you. I'm just a girl from the country, you know, and I built myself, did all the things, right? And I got here. And I'm thankful for the board of directors. I'm thankful for the people I met along the journey. I'm thankful for the relationships that I built. I'm thankful for the opportunities and access that I get to have and the conversations I get to have.
Absolutely.
And I always say, I wish someone was a fly on the wall and can get this information, because not only is it helpful in saving grace to me, I want this for other people, because I know I'm not the only one. And I always, again, not only just thank my guests, but I thank the people that are close to me, that they get to share that, because again, just not everybody gets that opportunity, or even gets to get close and accessible to Dwayna Haley. Right. And that's not, and it's not just, I always say this, is not flattery just because of flattery. It's truth, and it is real.
I needed me 20 years ago. I needed me, and there was no me. And And so it was a lonely and frightening journey.
Yeah.
One in which my identity was constantly under attack.
Yeah.
My value was constantly under attack. And yeah, I remain accessible for whoever and whatever I am to whomever, because I wished for me.
Yeah.
I wished for me, and I needed me, and I didn't have it.
Yeah.
I didn't have it. And the one time that I actually thought I had found it, I will leave this person nameless. It was a black woman. But she sort of laughed in my face.
Not physically, like
yeah. And that just felt like, God, I must have cried for days after that, because I just needed help.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm a little country girl from Arkansas, and I don't know shit, and I'm in the big city and all of that. But I'm asking.
Yeah.
The level of strength and humility and fortitude that it takes to ask for help is sort of the strongest thing a person can do.
Yeah.
And to have it mocked is it sits with you, it stays with you. So yeah, I am this for whatever I am because I needed me 20 years ago. So, and I have a daughter now. So I want to be that for, I don't care who you are. If a black woman comes to me and says, hey, can I talk to you? I always say yes. Yeah. Now I have to make time, and I have to figure out the time and all of that, but I always say yes, because we all we got.
And you have a very much open door. Well, when I worked you, I believe you had an open door policy.
Very much, yes.
And that open door policy reflects in real, outside of the workplace.
Yeah.
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 And that is something and I've also experienced, and not all the same way, it's not all white women, it's not all black women either, but you do come across those experiences with your sisters.
Yes,
and your sisters in Christ.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
And it's not received like you would expect or hope it to be, right? Or you are also perceived and received as a threat in competition. So not only are you battling the majority, you battling the minority.
Yeah.
And it does feel lonely when you feel like, well, dang, who can I turn to when I'm only just seeking help or advice or some type of understanding or clarity, because I know how I feel.
Or even course correction. If I am wrong.
If I'm wrong.
Then I need a safe space for someone to give me that without it being ridiculed.
Yes.
Without there being vitriol attached to it.
Yeah.
Without there being persecution.
Yeah.
Attached to it, because I'm already dealing with that in the workplace.
Right.
I need safe space.
I need safe space
for improvement or safe space for validation, and vulnerability. Like I need safe space. So yes, I always want to be that for us.
Yeah.
I want to be what I always needed. And I'm not above saying, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I know people.
Yeah.
So let's invite somebody, if you're comfortable, let's invite somebody else to this conversation. Let's write in another resource that might know a little bit better than me. Because I never want to steer you wrong.
Right.
I just want you to always know that, even if at foundation you just need somebody to say it to, say it to me.
Yeah. I love that. And I know specifically you have been that for me. There's days I've called you and I'm just like, I don't know what the hell is going on. I'm like, can you have time for a coffee? Or and even when I was just even fleshing out this whole thing, I called you because you already had the brain. I'm like, how do you navigate? And I know as women, we have experienced from just other women that gatekeeping, again, those stereotypes and tropes, but I always like to shine a light on the women, the black women that are there to be like, it's not even that. And I've been told, when I was starting to break into the workforce, you can't trust black women. I was actually told, you can't trust black women. They're not going to be there for you. They're going to, it's the tropes, right? They're going to try to look over you, step on you. And I had to actually go back and be like, that is not my experience.
Yeah.
I will also say I have experienced that, but that is not as a majority my experience. I have had more Black women. I've had more people or Black people in my space that have helped me, that have nurtured me, that have allowed space for me to come in with those feisty feelings. I'm like, actually, meet me outside because you owe me my one, you know, or the times where I always want to break down and cry because I felt so disheartened, you know, by certain reactions or interactions. And so, again, it doesn't, I always tell people two things can exist, right? It doesn't mean that it invalidates that those things don't happen. Two things can exist. Yeah. There can be people that are for you and against you in both settings that look like you and don't look like you.
Absolutely.
And
the system works the same.
And
regardless.
The system works the same for whoever want these legal systematic hands.
The system works the same regardless.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that is not only the beauty of the strategy and the strategic line of what you just said now, but also the series that you have, right? You are setting people up for awareness, educational purposes, and also to have the language and the tools and resources to be able to identify, not only just identify, but also how can you navigate these problems for your benefit? Once you realize this is what we are doing, I
want us to wake up faster. That's it. Like we spend a lot of time wallowing in the what the hell is happening. Stop.
Yeah.
This is what's happening.
Yeah.
Now, strategy. We can get to strategy faster.
Yeah.
Then we can get to improved outcomes.
Yeah.
We can sustain our jobs, or we can improve outcomes if we can get to strategy faster. We waste a lot of time in the, is it me? Let me check. What can I do?
Right.
Okay, let me just be quiet. All right, I'm not sure. I don't want to file a complaint. Then I for sure lose my job.
Yeah.
We lose a lot of time lost.
Yeah.
In
that victimization mindset.
It's just a fear and tired and overwhelmed and uneducated about the systemic part. You know what I mean? Like we spend way too much time. We get distracted very easily, thinking that we can self-edit to safety, and we cannot.
Yeah.
So I want to put it out there to recognize what it is that's happening. These are a couple of examples of what it looks like and what it may feel like and what it may show up. But by the way, bias is sophisticated, so understand it's designed to be imperceptible.
Yeah.
Okay? It is engineered to be imperceptible. But if you start to feel and sense and see some shit like this, this is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay? Don't go in, stay out. Don't go internal, stay out.
Right.
Put strategy in place.
I know I said closing, but let me just ask you one more thing. Okay. And this could be in the sense of closing. I had an episode in season 1, probably my second, maybe third episode, because that was actually very short after my transition from that. I was in the middle of that, right? All of that, right? And it was talking about faith versus fear, right? And how they actually both look very similar.
Yep, they require the same.
The same.
The unknown.
I want to ask you, and also it's a 2-part question. How has, and you might have touched on this, but how has faith and fear helped you, not only just navigating the workplace, but in general in life, right? To make these decisions to get to here. And the second part to that question is, what advice do you have for women like me? Women that don't look like me, women that are just now starting to break the force, or even women that are where you are in your career and don't even know the name to it, right? Or haven't even understood the tools, right? What advice do you have in regards to faith and fear and how that shows up in just navigating that from your perspective?
Like we said, faith and fear require belief in the unknown. I'll say that I was tired of being afraid. I was tired of operating in fear. And that pushed me to strengthen my faith. Strengthen my faith in myself. and stop being so willing to put so much investment and belief in someone else's belief of me and my value, but being willing to discount my own belief of my value. Oof. I'm having a thought. Oof. I'm experiencing a thing. I'm doubting everything that I'm thinking and everything that I'm experiencing and giving validity to somebody else's something.
Yeah.
And it was professional maturity and just growth in life that I realized one day that I was doing that.
Yeah.
Why don't I believe myself?
Yeah.
Am I a liar? No. Am I making this up? Am I using an excuse to validate poor performance?
Yeah.
No. Because if my performance was the thing, it would be documented. It would be there. Mm-hmm. I'm fighting for my existence, and I'm validating their belief of me instead of believing myself. Mm-hmm. I don't believe myself.
Yeah.
That was a wild and wicked thing to realize. Like, damn.
Yeah.
I actually believe them. I must.
That made me cry. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so the difference today is that I believe me.
Yeah.
I could be dead ass wrong. But if belief is going somewhere, it's not going to fear of what you're doing. It's going to faith in me. Oof. And mine.
Woo. Say that again for the people in the back.
If belief is going somewhere, it is not going to fear in you and what you're doing. It is going to faith in me and mine. Oof. That's where it's going.
Yeah.
Now, I have a board of directors to ensure governance of and oversight of objectivity. Because sometimes we drinking and high on the supply and we drinking the Kool-Aid and we believe conspiracy theory. These people are trying. Yeah. It's trying to. And I'll have my board to say,
yeah,
I think you might just have really a personality conflict with that person. Like you really just don't like the way she or he or they operate, you know? And it's easy to insert our own bias or bias beliefs into that, right? Have you even tried coffee with this person? Have you tried to have a conversation other than the one that y'all seem to have without having, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's where that level of objectivity comes in to make sure that I am not exaggerating what's happening.
Right.
But I have faith in me and my experience. Oh, it's with Mike. Okay. I have faith in me and my experience. I have faith in God.
Yeah.
I have chosen that before instead of operating in the fear. The fear is the volatility. The fear is the vulnerability. The fear is the distraction.
Yeah.
Because I can't control that. Yeah. I can't control nothing that's going to quiet, abate, or abolish the fear. Yeah. But I can control what I believe about myself. Ugh. And I certainly can believe in what he has done because he ain't never failed me. Oh. I'm still standing by grace.
Period. Absolutely.
I'm still standing by mercy. I'm still standing by a lot of different things.
I'll throw a shoe in a minute.
So a woman said to me a few weeks ago when I went to a women's retreat that if you are a faith-filled person, which I am, and have a relationship with God, then you better watch your posture when you in the valley. You represent him on the peak, and you represent him in the valley. It may be a valley for you, but for him, it is where he is operationalizing your victory. Ooh. How you stand in the valley says something about your faith. Yes. Do you believe him or not? Oof. And if you are a believer, then you stand as straight in the valley as you do when you standing on a mountain. God. So now
I'm telling you,
I have my days, and I have very we have very real conversations with each other,
as it should be. Yep.
But when I am in the valley, you're not going to find my shoulder slump. You're not going to find me in a space of doubt. You're going to find me in a, I'm tired, God.
Yeah, but shoulders back. All right, but I'm going to keep on, because I know who I serve at the end of the day.
I am that I am. So that's it.
Yeah.
That's my advice to other women is to connect to that.
Yes.
There is a lot about this experience we cannot control.
Absolutely.
It wreaks havoc on your system, your nervous system, your mind, your identity, your emotions, everything. It kills, steals, and destroys.
Yes.
It is meant to take you out.
Yeah.
You're not meant to feel successful over a system,
Yeah.
or to even feel any sense of strength to be able to fight a system.
Yeah.
That's where your faith in you and whatever source of power, greater
Right.
source, greater being, that's where you have to reside.
Yeah.
You have to get back to what you can control. You can control your belief in yourself.
Yeah.
You can control your discipline and study of systems and peoples and human behavior.
Yeah.
You don't have to just perform well. You can watch how other people perform.
Yeah.
And once you've been through it a time, okay, I've been here before.
Yeah.
Don't act like you haven't.
Right. It's familiar.
Different person, different job, same behavior.
Yeah.
The devil is and the devil was. It still works. He still works the same. And mind you, before he does anything in your life, he must first petition the Father. He can't touch you without it.
I know.
So if you are
Scripture.
experiencing
Yeah.
something, maybe it is did you learn this time?
Yeah.
Because the last time it happened to me, the very first thing I heard the Father say was, what have you learned? Oof. And it started to replay in my mind. And he said, great, use it. And I did. And it worked. Get out of your own way. Yeah. Believe yourself and your voice when you are speaking. Believe in yourself more than you believe in what they say, what they do, how they do it. Ground yourself. Remove emotion from that. Because I don't have to debate or fight my value.
Yeah.
Not with you. Not with somebody who doesn't know how to interpret it and certainly doesn't know how to evaluate it. I'm not going to do that. Which means I don't have to fight you. We don't have to have a battle or a war.
Right.
I now only have to discern what's happening around me. Clock it.
Yeah.
That's it. I move differently.
Yeah.
I don't fight. I'm not going to fight you. I can't win in a fight with you.
Yeah.
Because if I show out,
yeah.
I'm going to be put out.
Right. Right.
But I can learn and grow and show that and demonstrate that. And I think that over time, that's what I have come to. And there wasn't enough people saying that to me. Yeah. There wasn't enough Black women saying that at all. Yeah. And that truly grieved me, that so many of us are still not only fighting the battle externally, but internally. Mm-hmm. I want us free. Yeah. I want us free as we possibly can be. Mm-hmm. So, like my grandmother taught me, the future cannot change the stories that history never tells. Here I sit. Whether 1, 10, or 10,000 listen, you only need one. Yeah. And there are 3 of us in this room.
I was like, I'm the one. Because I'm over here holding back tears because you speaking to me in a way. Whew, I'm not gonna cry, but it's you're speaking specifically to me, and I know to someone else that needs to hear that is healing. Dwayna, you know the way we cry, but it is. I have doubted myself since I've been on this journey, and throughout the journey in corporate, on this journey, entrepreneurial journey, and every time it has shown me I am enough, I'm capable, and I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm talking about. I literally just said this past week in the lobbying space. What I've learned this legislative session is I know what I'm talking about. And I doubted myself. I allowed my light to dim because I didn't think I had the resume or the experience enough to do that. And it's like, no, and so it's not allowing, again, falling into, I put more belief in that fear in the context and the perception of what others may look and see and value and all that, instead of the fact that, no, God specifically told me, for those that know the story, I've said it plenty of times, told me to do this thing. Mm-hmm. God specifically told me to do this other thing at the same time. Mm-hmm. And doubting myself is doubting the God that created me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so it just shows that I need, not just I, but you need to put more belief in faith in who you are.
And understanding that failure is the only way you learn.
Yeah.
Success teaches people nothing.
Yeah. Failure does. It teaches you a lot.
You can't learn nothing in success. You can't learn nothing when you get it right. You're not learning nothing.
Yeah.
You will become antiquated and be left behind very quickly if all you ever meet is success and an open door.
Yeah.
You can't learn.
Yeah.
You only learn by failure. You
Yeah.
only learn by being wrong.
Yeah.
We've received the punitive outcome of that. But that's human.
Yeah.
That's where the faith in self comes from. Allow yourself that space.
Yeah.
Allow yourself to be wrong. Allow yourself to fail. Believe yourself and believe in your. Stop doubting yourself.
Yeah.
Stop trying to be humble. I heard this and I can't remember who said it. I no longer subscribe to and aspire to be humble.
Yeah.
I do not.
Yeah.
I am a bad bitch and I earned it. I have worked every single bit of this profession. I am also an apt pupil of it. I love learning, which is why I keep a youngin' on my board of directors.
Yeah.
I do not aspire to, I bow before no one.
Yeah.
But him.
Yeah.
And we met in person other than, you know what I'm saying? So I won't do it.
Yeah.
I just won't do it.
Yeah.
You don't need my humility. I don't owe you that.
Yeah. Anything.
Yeah. I don't. But but my kindness, my benevolence, my goodness, my belief in people, my respect of people and humanity. Yeah. All of those things are there. You trying to tell me about humility to, again, reset so that I'm not going there. Yeah. I won't be knocked down again.
Y'all, I want us to keep having this conversation for hours on end, but I know
I got to go home to my babies.
Yeah.
We got to, I got babies. They're not babies.
But they your babies.
They are my babies, yes.
Dwayna, this has been healing, informational. You read me about 4-5 times, and I love a good read, okay? So I'm not even mad about it. But it has not only, again, helped me. I know this has helped so many people out there, so many women. So. No, it has. I hate speaking for other people, but I will. This is so good, and that's why I wanted to have you on. And I'm so thankful that you had this series, and I'm so thankful that you decided to come on and join. You almost had me choked up, and I caught them tears. I said, I got too much makeup on. I'm not gonna do it, but. You are a light.
Thank you.
No. I'm not finished. Don't thank me yet. But you are a sun in not only your own personal life with your husband, with your kids. I can only imagine being around you every day. Mm-hmm. But you are a light to so many other people in every room that you step in, and a light that I welcome. Like, honestly. And I know I've always said I've been enamored by you. The moment I saw her step, I said, oh my God, who was this woman? And it was, again, I'm grateful to be able to have the access to you, to access your knowledge. And I'm thankful that you lend it happily. And so it is, I'm thankful that you lended it to the audience, because I can be stingy and selfish, so I'm sharing you with some people, and y'all better tap in with her. But you are just amazing, and I'm so thankful for your knowledge, your wisdom, and you coming on to my podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you so much for being open and willing and flexible. So I'm gonna let you get back home to your babies, I guess. But no, I'm playing. Thank you so much. Y'all, if you have gotten as much out of this as I have, please do not forget to like, follow, comment, and subscribe. I also want you to tap in with Dwayna, Ask the PR Girl. I'm pretty sure that's how it is on Instagram, on all channels.
All channels is Ask the PR Girl.
Yes. She is amazing, and she has amazing content. Please make sure you follow her series if you want more detailed information and what we just discussed here today, to be able to put a language and a strategy behind this conversation. So thank y'all so much, and until then,